Hello, it's March 2024, and this video is inspired by conversations that I've been having with people more and more now. And it's a topic that's not really talked about in mainstream, although mainstream does mention it, but not necessarily in the context that I'll be addressing here. Now, I have done videos in the past about this particular topic, many years ago, my old videos, and even I would just try to remember the past several years or so, but I can't find that video. It's like it's gone. And I thought it was one of two other videos talking about what I'm going to be talking about here, and I went through them and it's like, nope. So I don't know what happened there. And what this topic is going to be about is Project Bluebeam. Now, this particular topic is a big topic, I guess, for many in the truther communities and people who are just interested in that kind of, for example, technology, or I'm going to say alleged technology. But this is not something that mainstream really addresses, although they do talk about this technology, but not from the perspective that I'll be addressing. And the reason why, for example, people who adhere to religions and belief systems are very much interested, because it ties in with their religion and belief system and things that are said, perhaps even things that are not said. And I see people even in the secular world talking about this type of thing, who, for example, whether they think that as a common descriptive aliens and UFOs are real, and for those people who believe that they're real, or people who have experienced these things. And what I've been saying for a very long time is that this Project Bluebeam is going to be the deception. Now, it's not to say or imply that there's going to be, or there are, a group of people who will orchestrate fake events and things like that, but it's not going to be to the extent that, for example, most truthers and people researching this topic think. They're giving benefit of doubt that technology is a lot better than what it really is. I'm just going to segue for a quick moment here. When people are talking about how people, human beings, can manipulate weather and HAARP and all these other things, there's an assumption, for example, how clouds are formed. We're told that there's little particulates way up high in the air, and water vapor rises up, collects, forms clouds, comes back down. And I've said to people who think that this is the case with human intervention, say with the weather, when have we observed water vapor rising 10, 20, 30,000 feet? What we do see is it rising as fog, and then it basically just goes to a certain height and that's it. And then you really notice this, for example, when you're in the mountains and you're looking down in the valley. In the valley, it just looks like an ocean of fog, but you're high enough that the water vapor from down below hasn't been able to rise. So anyway, I'm just trying to set the stage here for something, just giving the benefit of doubt to technology by human beings. Now, people will argue, well, yeah, but there's all this secret technology. Well, if there is, that wouldn't be, for example, HAARP or Project Bluebeam, but that's a whole different tangent. What I really want to focus on is that this Project Bluebeam being the deception, or as some would call it, the PSYOP. So they're saying that they're going to be staging a fake alien invasion and all this other stuff. And what better way to have people doubt or even mock, laugh at, say, using a descriptive, those others from above coming down. It's a perfect strategy to make people dismiss it all. And even people who belong to a religion or belief system, I've said these things have little to nothing to do with the Most High, God, Creator. But people are, trying, the best way they can through either their upbringing or some sort of social conditioning. The point is, even these people are going to be deceived and are even confused at best what's taking place here. The only one coming from above would be the Most High. And even if you look at it, for example, through a secular perspective, there's other beings coming from somewhere, really truly coming from somewhere. So you skew the information pool and talk about Project Bluebeam, saying, well, yeah, they're going to fake all this stuff. And that way people, for example, are not prepared. And then if and when it does happen for real, then it's not if, but when it does happen for real, it's too late to prepare. For whatever reason, this is what the agenda is. So really my point here being is to address many conversations I've had with people and everything else. Yes, there's going to be deceptions with regards to all this stuff, and we see more and more how even government officials and stuff are coming out saying, yeah, UFOs and what's known as aliens are real and they're more advanced. Or even if you go back 10, 20, 30 years and back, these people who were saying, yeah, I seen one, or they're deemed as crazy, but slowly they're introducing it. But then there are going to be events that are going to be in question. Now, I'm not saying to necessarily jump at every story you hear or experience or whatever's going on to make an assumption one way or another. But my point is, don't be too quick to jump to any conclusions. Wait. And I said the same thing looking at it from a more, for example, earthly perspective. When it comes to freedom fighters and everything, and there's cases and there's rulings and everyone's like, see, we won and everything else. I've said, wait and see. And that's the key. So at the end of the day, all you can do is just survive everything and wait and see what presents itself. Especially when something is new, say there's a new event or whatever. There's a lot of people, there's a new event and they'll just start talking about it, and everyone likes to jump aboard and speculate and everything else. And then a few days later or a week later, just more information. It's like, oh, okay, well now this maybe changes that or this, and coming to new conclusions, and the more information is presented, and people just keep talking about it rather than just say, okay, I'm going to wait 2 weeks, see what presents, and then make a better informed conclusion, or perhaps even a properly informed conclusion, when all as a descriptive evidence is made known. But a lot of people, again, going back to this Project Bluebeam thing, that's what they're thinking, that whatever's going to be happening is going to be. And when the Most High and His come, what better way to even turn people, for example, Christians or anyone, away from that, mock, or even if they're scared that it's other beings that they're going to destroy, to fight whoever comes from above. You have to remember, all these other beings and everything else are already down here with us, coming from somewhere else, and that's a whole different topic. So hopefully this briefly addresses this topic of Project Bluebeam. I did mention this HAARP and controlling the weather and everything else. That's another deep topic that could be explored at some point. I just want to finish up by saying there's a lot of things that, for example, people don't understand. They don't want to accept. Perhaps it's just too much and they want to reject it. They'll fight tooth and nail, and emotionally they just don't want to deal with it. But all these things are part of reality, the reality we all share. There's no alternative realities and you have your truth and I have my truth. That's all nonsense. It's all part of the plan. So just keep that in mind. Don't just assume because everyone's talking that there's going to be a fake alien invasion from Project Bluebeam. It's going to be government and PSYOPs and all this other stuff. Because these things are real. Okay? So, things to think about. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people saying to me, oh, when is it going to get easier? When you die.